Welcome back to Canceled Weekly. It's Gerard, it's Candace, and it's the entire Gall family. Welcome.
That's right. That's right. We got my sister Jamie and my cousin Tuco here.
Let's go.
Tuco is a wanted criminal from London, so he's wearing a disguise right now as a Dagestani. So enjoy, Tuco, while you can. And so, Tuco, tell the people. Now, obviously, a lot of the Canceled Weekly audience are Slick and Thick crossovers, so they've seen both you and Jamie on Slick and Thick before. But for the people that are chatting with Candace fans, tell the people a little bit about yourself, Tuco.
I am a reformed delinquent, firstly. That's what I'll say is my first port of call describing myself. But I am a professional fighter. I fight in the UFC. Me and Mickey are cousins, twice, thrice removed. And in and out, day to day, either of us can be better looking on the day, depending on the day we're having. Yeah, but that's me. I'm from London, England.
You sound like you're from London.
I am indeed. Much obliged, sir.
And obviously we have the great Jamie G. Jamie Gall, tell the people what it was like growing up with a brother that was professionally violent.
Professionally violent? Well, he wasn't professionally violent until he was older, but he's always been violent.
He's always had a proclivity towards the violence. Very good. Well, welcome to Canceled Weekly. I know you guys are big fans, so you know what we do here on the show. We're going to watch some clips, and then we're going to talk a lot of shit about the clips. Like, what clips do we have today, Candace?
That's a good question. Well, my clip, we have Douglas Murray talking about how to be prepared and the state of the world over in the UK and how that's going to cross over into US culture very soon.
We've got Steven Seagal giving some conflicting background information on his upbringing.
Yeah, we got some questionable fighting techniques. And Tuco, talk about your video that you sent me.
I can't remember. The CTE is in full effect right now. Which video?
It was a chick talking about the freakiest thing she did.
Oh yeah, that was diabolical.
Yeah, maybe
Fuck
everyone
it. Can I swear on here?
except for my sister.
I can swear on here. Oh, good.
And
thank
Jamie,
God.
we have a little extra clip for you, which I think is probably a young Jamie Gall. So, matter of fact, Christian, why don't we just start with that one real quick? Let's see what a young Jamie G was like.
Boyfriend kisses her on the lips
Oh,
on the bus.
what?
Yeah.
That is nasty.
What? The only time you can kiss somebody is when you actually love them and they're a part of your family.
Right.
But like when you get in love with somebody, when you're actually in love with somebody, you can kiss.
And what age do you think that would be? Like appropriate?
When you're in like the teens. I mean, you can get a boyfriend, but when you're older, like
Right.
15
Right.
or older than that.
Yeah.
Something. Like when you actually like somebody and they like you
For
like,
real.
When you get to the point where you have a crush on them for real.
Right.
If you can't spell boyfriend, you shouldn't have one, right?
I agree.
I love her.
Yeah, so young Jamie G right there spitting a little knowledge to the mama.
Dude, that just gave me faith in the future generations. How sensible is that kid, man?
I love my favorite part about that clip is the way that she leans in the beginning of it. It was like, I saw her kiss a boy on the lips.
Yeah, the sass reminded me of Jamie. The snitching, not so much. But the morals. Jamie was heading to the convent. She was going to be a good nun until the gangster life chose her.
But I'm back.
You're back?
I'm back now.
She's in the convent.
I'm back in the convent.
You should have dressed as a nun just for this episode.
If I knew.
Sister Act Part G. Yeah. So I mean, what you've got two sons, but you're about to have a daughter. Now you have a daughter as well too.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think is the most appropriate age for your children to have a boyfriend or girlfriend?
I'm one of them psycho dads, man. Never. Even like they can't even go to college till they get black belts. Like they're, damn, I don't know how I'm gonna be. What's that movie with 50 Cent? And he like gets all his buddies in the garage when the boyfriend comes over to pick the kid up for prom.
Yeah, but they got
That's
a
gonna be
little
me,
LA
bro.
street robbing.
Yeah. Oh my god. My rule's gonna be like, whatever you do to her, I do to you.
I've seen
Anything. Yeah, for real. You break her heart, I break your heart. You know?
It's not where my head went. But anyway,
You break her hymen.
We all got it. Actually, I got a question for you guys. So when your kids ask you about sex, like, or let's put it this way: when they say, "Mom or Dad, where do babies come from?" What are you gonna tell them? Or what have you told them?
Do you not do that classic story of like, oh,
Stork?
when a daddy loves a mummy, he kisses her, and the seed goes down into her belly, and the baby grows?
No, I haven't heard that one.
Oh, that's what we were raised on.
Classic story.
Yeah, it's like when you love someone enough, you kiss them, and the seed goes from the daddy to the mummy, and it goes down to her belly.
You know what I like about that? It's not a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
There is
Yeah.
some seed.
So
and she's.
I don't like lies.
Don't say a stork.
So I don't think you want to make some up, but like I think you can kind of use a little word play.
Yeah.
Like you could be like, when a mommy and a daddy love each other, God decides, you know.
You can do that. You can implement.
They don't
God.
know that love means sex. You know what I mean?
But stalk, I say that to my kids. She'll be like, "What the fuck's a stalk?"
it ain't no bird drop me off, Pop. What you talking about? So yeah, what is that? What you're gonna?
Yeah,
what are
I've
you
always
gonna do?
I've said like when two people love each other that they can make a baby. And then because my youngest keeps like asking for another sibling, I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, can't you just? And I go, Mama's getting a little old for like more babies.
Your
and he's
son,
like,
your
and he's
son
like,
is trying to.
no, my oldest. He's
oldest.
yeah, he's and I was like, Mama's getting a little old to like keep having babies. And he's like, no, you're not. I was like, well, for that, yes, I am. And he's like, oh, we'll just do it right now. And I was like, well, that's not how it works. He's like, just like make one right now. And I was like,
And
it's
his dad sitting across the room like,
But what if your kid's like wise to
Boy,
it and they're like,
that's my
yeah, you guys ain't in love anymore. You can't make another baby.
I think part of it though is like you want to instill what you hope that they have. So you don't want them to think that you should just have a baby with someone. Like you want to be like very conscious of that decision. So I think that the words are really important. Then so like even though like obviously people have babies all the time out of when they're not in love, even if they're married, it's like this is what I want for you. So I'm just gonna try to put that in there, let it cook a little bit.
I don't know if I skip school. I don't even the birds and the bees. I don't even know how the fuck that one works. The
I
bird
don't know
comes
why
to the
it's called a
flower
bird or a
and
bee.
yeah,
I
the
don't know
bird
about
comes
that
to the
story.
flower and the bee pollinate. I don't even know that shit to explain
Yeah,
that.
why is it called the birds and the bees? That would be a good origin.
I think it's about flowers and pollination.
You
Like
guys know
something
about that?
happens.
You know
Yeah,
the exact origin?
either a
if
bird
only,
or a
If only we
bee.
had a producer with a computer in front of him.
Yeah.
That would be
Flipping
cool.
around.
I think the pollination makes sense,
Yeah.
probably.
I don't know. The Irish way is like, well, it was my birthday and we got drunk and
Yeah.
you know, here you
I didn't
came.
hit her that day.
Yeah,
She
good for
spread
you.
them.
What are you going to tell your kids? You can tell them to kiss the seed and the
I don't know. They're mature. I'll probably just tell them the truth when they're old enough, but they ain't even asking that shit.
What
yet,
about
so.
Santa?
Oh, no way. Your dad's Santa. My dad taught me that.
Yeah, take that credit.
He ain't
right?
no old white guy bringing you no fucking toys.
Yeah, you'd be like
Yeah.
kids will be their parents like, no, you didn't
Yeah.
get it. Santa did.
Nah,
Yeah,
fuck
man.
that. I don't do none of that shit. Toy, fairy, tooth fairy, Santa, none of that.
What about you?
We've done this. So we say that Santa's an egregore, and like
You tell,
yeah.
tell your 4 and 2-year-old egregore.
Yeah, Leah, my oldest knows egregore. Yeah, he knows it. So we say it's an egregore, and it's one of those things that you have enough people that believe in it. So like that belief makes it real. But we also emphasize it's not about, because obviously he's 4, he gets really excited about getting. We're like, well, that's not what it's about. Like, how exciting is it to think about what someone else would want and like see their reaction? And like we emphasize like giving and contribution and like all the other things about Christmas and the holidays that bring you together, which is like time together, no distractions, like making every meal, like all of these other things. So it's kind of to redirect like that 4-year-old impulse to like gimme, gimme, gimme.
That's what my father did too, I think, without knowing what an egregore was. Because,
I
yeah,
guarantee your father from Brooklyn did not know that.
there you go. An egregore? Who's fucking Aragon?
Yeah.
But like he would say, look, it's the spirit. It's the spirit of Santa that comes inside. And then like in his joking way, he'd be like, you think I wanted to buy you this shit? No, of course not. But then Santa comes inside and the spirit takes over. And then, you know, I work through him. But he would do it like in a very playful way.
I think
So
that's good though, because they still get the excitement of it. They still get to enjoy in something, and it's not taking it away from them. But it's not lying and creating some nonsense story.
I think you just reproduce whatever culture you were raised with. I was brought up Greek. I'm half Greek, and there was
Half
no
Greek, half
fucking
Jippo.
Greek Santa. You know, Christmas and New Year's and shit, you bake a cake and you put a coin in it, and whoever fucking gets that
it's luck.
slice got the luck that year. It's like there ain't no Santa
That's
coming
the
down.
Italian, same thing, like panettone and stuff like that with the little ring inside
The
of
Irish
it.
do that too. You get like and then if you get like a napkin.
Yeah, it's like a
bad luck.
rag. It's a rag,
rag.
and then it's gonna be a hard year for you. It's like, what the
Yeah,
fuck is this?
Only
Christmas?
the Irish would give out bad luck. In Greeks, it's just if you get the coin, you get the good luck. There ain't no bad luck. You know,
God bless the God bless the merry Gauls of Ireland, for all their wars are merry and all their songs are sad. The fucking mad lads. We're the most backward people on earth.
Mm-hmm.
We're happy when we're dying. We're sad when we're living. You got the weird one for me with the kids is like the schools are teaching them at a very young age now. And it's like I think that's one that probably should be left to the parents.
Yeah.
But also
About sex?
I think so.
Okay.
But also it depends. But I mean, like, I don't really have any skin in the game. But elementary school, like, I don't know. When should
I think
this stuff be taught?
the minute your kid is in someone else's care, they need to know everything. So my oldest, when he was
What do you mean
2,
they need to know
they need to know everything about like what is theirs, what is not there.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what is not someone else's.
Boundaries and-
What is not to be touched. What's like bad or what we say is tricky behavior, so they can protect themselves. So the minute that they're with someone else, if they don't know their anatomy or how to come to you or that they can come to you, it's really dangerous.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You know what else is really
So
dangerous?
they're teaching kids. So I remember, I think it was like 6th grade. So I remember when I was in, I think like 3rd or 4th grade, my friend Phil was like, "Hey, like Kyle's in 6th grade and they're doing sex ed, and if a man puts his penis inside a girl's vagina and pees, that's how babies are made." And I was like, "No fucking way! Like that's crazy.
Fake
You're
news.
lying."
You're fake news. Very important for everybody to know there's a dead spot in the floor here, and I am not farting the whole time. So just throwing that out there. Just FYI, if you hear this. Anyway, back to a clip show.
When's our next clip?
What do you guys want to do next?
Let's do the
Douglas Murray.
yeah.
You-
Who is Douglas Murray?
You know Douglas Murray?
Nah.
He's like one of your greatest. What do you call him? Like
Maybe I recognize
exports.
him. Let me
He's
see
a
him.
philosophizer.
Author.
Let me see him.
Not better than Russell Brand.
No.
But he's still great.
We haven't done an RB clip in a long time.
Douglas Murray.
Mm-hmm. He wrote The Madness of Crowds. That was like his really big book a few years ago.
Very strongly today that people in America, Europe, Britain, the rest of the West are going to have to get serious very fast, because something is going to happen. I don't know what, but something is going to happen in my lifetime that is going to bring the kind of reality that the people of Israel saw on the 7th to the people of America, to the people of Europe, to the people of Britain. And we should prepare for that, and we should prepare a generation for that. And we should encourage them. They've got to break out of the thing they're in. These ignoramuses, the narcissists, the navel gazers. We've got to tell them that the age of grievance is over. The age of grievance will be over with an age of heroism and courage. And we should encourage that from everybody. And if these other people who want to hold us all back and want to make us talk about things that are so banal and boring, like gender woo-woo and I'm feeling non-binary, no, don't have time for you. Get out the way. Life's too serious. Get ready.
That is such a good clip. It's one of my favorite clips
fuck
of
with
him.
this guy.
Yeah, I
I
got a lot
love
to
it
say on
so
that.
much. So much. And I think that all of this is like a distraction. When you get people talking about like 17 different pronouns and how they feel and safe spaces and trigger warnings, like it's all a distraction from something that is like much more important. We have the near assassination of a former president, and then 2 days later, everyone can't stop talking about the fucking opening ceremony at the Olympics. Like that was the number one important thing. It's like, well, why don't you focus on the thing that actually matters and not this other thing that they want you to forget about, right? Like how the country, the whole world would have changed that day. Like 2 inches, the whole world would have changed that day. But no, we're worried about like drag queens. Like, yes, that's annoying, but don't spend your energy there.
I'm gonna rebuttal. Like, I wonder how much it really would change. Like, what's the difference? Like, We're talking
Trump got
inches.
shot?
Even if he did get shot, I mean, a couple days later, it's like, oh, if fucking LeBron has an affair, it's like, how many people in this country really are giving their attention to that? It's like, how many people are invested in that? Like, I wonder what would really be the effect. I'm sure some people, like in the South, wherever, they'd mobilize and do some crazy shit maybe, but it's like, as a collective, like the entire population of this country, how different would it have been? What do you think?
I don't know. I think you have some people that feel super disenfranchised. They don't feel heard. They feel like things have already been stolen from them. And I think that their mentality is not again. So I think that there have been so many times where they have been taking the higher road and trying to do things the right with process. And I think if they see something that looks, I guess, out of the ordinary, I don't know that they're going to just like let it slide again. I think people are done letting things slide. So something that was that big and like that messy, like you see that like skinny noodle-armed kid that like does nothing but play Fortnite. Like you're telling me that his shot was that good and he just like carried like there's so many question marks around that. So I think if that were to have actually happened, I think people wouldn't have taken that lying down, and I think it would have gotten really bad.
I think they would have taken it. Gerard knows where I stand. Like, I'm a complete libertarian. At this point, I think the Republican Party just exists to sedate would-be libertarians and
Controlled
give them
opposition.
Yeah, give them hope. And I think like it doesn't. You'd think after that near assassination, like, oh, the election's a done deal. Like, but no. Look at this. A couple of weeks later, like now we got Sleepy Joe pulls out, and Kamala steps in, and now the polls are showing her. It's like, it's all a fucking shit
Think
show.
they would have pulled out Biden had Trump been killed?
No, not at all.
Probably would have left him in there, right?
Yeah.
Why expose the fact that they're leaving an incompetent man in office till January? Right? They would just like let sleeping dogs lie.
Yeah. So if he can't run, then he shouldn't be in there today. Like, if you can't run now, what, in 6 months you're not going to be good enough? Then you're not good enough now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think I'd like to believe what he said is true, but even there, he's a coward. Like, he won't just call them what they are. He won't call them Democrats. He won't call them liberals. He's beating around the bush. Yeah, Douglas. So I love what he's saying, but I think we have to be more than heroic. I think we all have to kind of, to what Candace said earlier, we have to understand that the best part of us was weaponized. Our grace, our empathy. When this happened and there was genuine concerns, Me Too, genuine concerns, right? But it's become so lucrative and there's such perverse profit incentive to create this divide. Why would they ever try to get rid of it? There's people that are diversity officers making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Would they ever solve racism? If they solve racism, they put themselves out of business. There's always going to be a problem. There's always going to be a grievance. There's always going to be somebody that has less than somebody else, and then we're going to call that injustice. So the unfortunate thing that we have to learn from this last 20-odd years is that you have to be very reserved with your empathy and your sympathy for cases that you can actually physically apply to, like the people, I want to feed kids, I don't care, let's higher taxes, I'm a good person, I would pay more taxes to make sure every kid gets free lunch. What's stopping you from making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches right fucking now?
Yeah, and
Saint dickhead of Twitter. No, you want to steal other people's fucking money, and you want to say, like, if I had $42 billion, I wouldn't buy Twitter. I would save, I would end world hunger. You haven't made a fucking sandwich for one fucking person. Right. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you lock your door at the fucking stoplight when someone's coming around begging for change. And
yeah, all these people, these holier than thou, if I can say, and that's why I'm better than you, at the end of your sentence, I fucking hate you.
But you're right. I think everyone's playing fair in like a dirty game. Like, even Trump, like, they tried to fucking whack you, and now you're going to try and take the like high ground and be all like
the Secret Service are trying their best. What the fuck?
Yeah, like now he's noble about it. Like,
there's something weird about
crazy.
that. Something very weird
going back to the video again, I think like he's still holding back. What like that's vague, saying like we need to be heroic. Like, what are you implying? Like,
I think that's different for everyone. Like, not everyone are you guys. You know what I mean? Like, when not everyone even has the capacity to do what you guys do. So I think it looks differently. Like for you, maybe that's more physical and that's more of like your traditional like protector role. But for someone like him, like the brave thing to do is what he's saying. It's
Speak on
I'm not going to take you seriously. This is not a serious thing, and like get out of the way, right? The adults are in the room. So I think that requires a lot of bravery too. It's a different form of bravery or a different form of masculinity.
But then I try to do that. Like if I go into a grocery store and I ask some non-binary twink, whatever the fuck they are, I'm like, oh yeah, where's the bananas? Sorry man, where's the bananas? Here. Oh, I'm a whatever they identify as. I'm like, whatever man. I'm just looking for the bananas. Like I'm not. Where's the bananas?
Yeah. Oh, you mistook me for somebody that gives a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. You want to be respectful to people, but it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like
you said, you can't let them walk over you.
If you kindly are like, oh, hey, I'm actually a ma'am, and like someone who looks like you, I'll be like, okay, ma'am. But if you're like, I am a ma'am, how dare you? Fuck off! Don't give me that fucking attitude for no reason.
I think
Be
some
crazy.
of that goes back into like what is being taught in schools, because if you like, for me, if someone told me that like I could have been a boy or a girl, my interests would have led me to think I was more like a boy. Like I liked hanging out with the boys, I liked doing sports and stuff like that. So some of it I think isn't political, but it's brought like, maybe it starts in a political space and then everybody else, it's like rich people problems. If you don't have something else to worry about, if you're not hunting and getting your food and stuff like that, you have too much time on your hands, you're able to have all these different gripes and to get mad at someone in the grocery store for misgendering you when you look like a man but you want to be a woman.
I agree, but very important caveat. These things are hyper political in places that we didn't realize they were early on. All of these people in public schools are hyper political. The union has taken things in a
You're
far
saying like the staff?
Correct. And
but she's saying like as a kid, she could be like, I like sports, so all right, I'll be a boy, I guess, just not understanding the repercussions.
No, I understand what she's saying, but I understand what I'm saying. So, and then let me finish it and tell me if I got this wrong. The idea of you being a tomboy growing up and being good at sports, then back in the day, it was like kind of like, well, she likes sports, she'll grow out of it and like she'll wear dresses or whatever when she gets older. And now it's, hey, have you considered you're a boy? And have you considered that you're in the wrong gender? And then they start pushing these vulnerable kids into these places where like...
But that's what she's saying.
That's my point, exactly.
Yeah.
My point is that it may come from like a political space, but I think a lot of the people that are continuing it are just kind of vulnerable to it and just don't know any better. So
they're kids.
Right.
Exactly.
That's what I was saying.
So then an authority figure comes and is like, hey, you know, while you're feeling the way you're feeling, you might actually be a boy.
Right.
You're just a fucking kid going through puberty. We all felt a certain way. Like we all woke up one day and had pimples on our face and goes, all right, well, this sucks. You know, I'm going to walk around with pimples on my face, braces on my teeth. You know, you grow later than other people. And then you're like, okay, well, this is my life. This is horrible. Or you develop fucking character skills. You get good at sports or you get good at talking shit. And then one day your body grows and everything's fine. Like this is that awkward cocoon phase of life is awkward for everybody, and it's even more so when you have an authority figure coming in and saying we can make it better. It's just going to take years of hormone pills that are going to castrate you.
I think I'm not political, so I don't take like a political view on anything. I kind of keep my head in the sand because it's just more comfortable because I feel like I can't do as much. So when I hear these things, I think it's like I said, like where it starts may be one thing, but I don't think everybody carrying it out is always like has an agenda. It's just they have nothing better to do.
In your business, this is a little bit of a turn. You're not political. In your business, do you find that the liberal people you work with are comfortable working with conservatives, or do you find the conservative people are more comfortable working with liberals?
I wouldn't even that wouldn't cross my mind ever. I couldn't tell you because I couldn't tell you who was conservative.
She wouldn't delineate like that.
I would never think of anything in those terms.
It's been my experience that liberals will find out you're a conservative or you're just not a liberal and will try to excommunicate you from the scene. Whereas I've been in areas where it was, you know, company ownership was conservative, maybe the company culture was conservative, and liberals were in there and they were fine. They were accepted. Maybe they were made fun of from time to time. But I think that that's a massive thing that doesn't get talked about enough, where liberals are allowed to be in conservative spaces and conservatives are never allowed in liberal
So you're saying
spaces.
liberals are less inclusive. They're like exclusive.
See, I disagree with that, because in my experience, I have been on the receiving end of both of those things from both parties. So I think it just comes
Right, because you
down
got
to
people with the conservative ideals who
that think I'm the worst,
yeah.
worst thing ever, and then there's the liberals that obviously hate me as well. So I think it comes down to character. It's like if you're either the type of person that reduces someone down to one thing that you don't like, or you're someone who's open and you're like, I'm going to experience you and then I'll make a judgment. But it just comes down to how open or closed you are to something. So the way that I talk about it, particularly with me, it's like people treat me how they treat ideas. And if you're open to ideas, then you tend to be open to me. If you're like very closed off person and you like have a solidified way that you see the world, and that's how you see me too. So I don't think that's left or right. I think it's just personality and character.
But sometimes, like, I find I live in a vacuum. Like, I live in Florida. I just go to the gym, go to fights. Recently, I was in Denver and we were staying downtown. So every day we were walking out and getting coffees. And I was like, man, there's pride flags everywhere. And there was a lot of like non-binary type people working in coffee shops and stuff. And I was like, damn, man, this city's pretty progressive, right? And I realized, like, no, I just don't really go anywhere. I'm not really that aware of what the next generation is
Denver
doing.
is very progressive.
As I get, I know. But as I get older, I'm like, damn, and it's because I'm not interested. I don't care to know. That could be ignorant. That like I don't look into it. I don't consider them. I'm just living my life. I want to know where the bananas are in the fucking grocery store.
You love bananas, man.
He loves bananas.
Bananas.
He's a potassium freak, this guy.
I'd like a banana.
It's getting worse, not better. The bifurcation is getting worse.
Yeah.
People are leaving places where they, like Denver, the people that are, let's just be simple and say conservative, are leaving Denver. And people that
going to like Texas or
or even go into the suburbs outside of the city, and then the people that don't fit in the suburbs, let's call them liberal or whatever, they're going into the city. So these things are becoming much more polarized, and that's going to have a very serious negative effect long term on the solidarity of this great nation. But
what do you think about him saying like, oh, soon? When he said like, oh, soon America's going to have like an October 7th thing in Israel, I'm like, buddy, September 11th, you know. Remember that? We already had it 20 years ago.
Well, the CIA did both. So anyway,
yes, thank you.
You know who would know? A guy who's been everywhere and knows everything. A guy who can show us the way forward, and that is none other than the great Steven Seagal.
Oof.
The most difficult thing for me to talk about, because I could make something up that would sound better. The truth is just too hard to believe for everybody.
I was born from a mother who was found in a shoebox when she was born. My mother was American Indian.
Are you of Italian descent? Yeah, I have some Italian on my mother's side and some French.
My mother was a Mohawk. I think that my mother's side is probably Irish.
My grandmother surely looks pure Mohawk, and I'm pretty sure she is.
Grandmother in your lineage that is Mongolian?
They look like Russian Mongols, but I don't know what they are, but they're something Asian.
Father's a Russian Mongol.
Part of his family are from Texas, so let's put it this way. I'm Russian. I'm a lot more Asian than I am American. I'm a Russian Mongol, and I'm Russian.
Mongolian, and we don't really know which tribe it is, and all of those people are dead now, so I can't ask them.
He's a Russian. He's a
Mohawk.
So he's a Russian, Italian, French, Irish,
He's a fucking chameleon.
Mohawk,
He's
Mongolian.
It's pretty
Texan.
Mohawk. So we got on his mother's side, we've got Italian, Mohawk,
French, Irish.
Okay. And on the father's side, we got.
No, he said she was Russian.
She was Russian Mongol too.
And his dad.
And the dad was Russian Mongol.
From Texas.
Asian.
Russian Mongol
Texas
from
than
Texas.
anything.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
more Asian than anything.
In that one interview. Depends on who he's talking to, it seems like.
I know somebody with the exact same genealogy.
Oh my! I knew you were gonna make fun of me.
I think he just done.
Do you think you're 1/8 Steven Seagal? Or
No.
Stephanie
Tuco,
Seagal.
what do you think about Steven Seagal? Because I know he's kind of infiltrated the.
He's
it's called the UFC world because he's kind of hopped on some fighters You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a couple fighters that had like.
He was he taught Anderson Silva the kick. He taught Anderson Silva the kick. He knocked out Vitor.
Yeah, there was like some viral knockouts, and then after the fact, he's like, "Yeah, I taught him that kick," and they're like, "Who?" You know?
He's like, "But I can't show him everything because it would kill him."
No, did you see that? Did you see when he went in with Daniel Cormier and he's like, "I could show Daniel some things, but then he wouldn't beat people; he'd kill people."
What do you think that's about? He just wants to.
I think he's a little bit of that fufu shishi old school McDojo stuff.
He was an Aikido guy, right?
Yeah, which is
It's. Did he invent Aikido? Does he like say he invented it or something?
I'm sure he says.
I think he's like, yeah.
I fucking loved Steven Seagal growing up. Like he had the fucking ponytail, wearing all black, and they'd put him in movies where like the enemies were like that movie Marked for Death. It's all like Jamaican rustlers. He's throwing them out the window and shit. It was fucking sick. But then,
but what do you think about him as a?
Well, yeah. Then you get older, you start training.
Yeah. Who here knows what Bobby Rico is?
You start training and learning how to actually fight, and you're like, what the fuck? It was all that. He just fucking threw a guy out the fucking window. Like, yeah.
Very disinterested.
Yeah, I still love the movies, but in regards to the video and him kind of like trying to explain where he's from, I think in the 80s he just done so much drugs.
Well, I think he's kind of a bullshitter.
Yeah, I think he just said every nationality of woman that he fucked in the 80s, and that's where he's from.
It's just whoever he's talking to. Like, it's whatever benefits
he's like pandering?
him. Yeah, it's whatever benefits him in that conversation. He's gonna say he's from like. Who knows what the conversation is, but he's gonna say like, no, I know what the best ramen noodles are because I'm Asian.
Yeah, he's like, I'm talking to an Irish audience. Well, I'm mostly Irish.
Yeah.
So these people will now adore me.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Ingratiate himself to whatever benefits him.
But you can tell he's a little bit gone because he's unaware of how poorly his hair and beard are dyed back.
But he also probably came up when there wasn't so many videos and stuff.
Yeah,
like
before
that.
the internet, everything existed. He thought he was going to get away with it.
Yeah, he could say whatever he wants to say when he wants to say it, because who's going to?
A lot of that from the older generation.
Well, that's what killed. That's what killed Carlos Mencia. Carlos Mencia was like every comedian steals jokes. No, but like his career was killed because he stole everybody's jokes, and his whole thing was like everybody steals jokes. Yeah, but you're doing it on camera all the time.
Wait, is Steven Seagal a boomer? I don't know. How old is a boomer?
I don't know.
He's probably older. I mean, his hair will tell you otherwise. But.
You have to respect that he's fucking poker faced in his lies. He's just he does that accent, that cool accent. Yeah.
There was a girl I dated.
Allegedly.
Yeah, exactly. The girl I dated who's she came out to me like 3 months after. She was like, I really like where this is going. So I have to be honest with you. I was lying in the beginning, and I was like, in my mind, I was like, bro, don't say you're a fucking dude. Please do not say you used to be a dude. And she's like, I was never.
For 3 months, and you weren't sure if she was.
If you knew.
Anyway, I was doing a lot of drugs. I was doing a lot of drugs back then.
Yeah.
So the point is, she was lying to me, saying that she was Brazilian, and she's really Italian. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I was like, yeah. I was like, who gives a? She's like, I just know that men think Brazilians are so attractive, and I was like, I'm not fucking blind. Like I can look at you. Like you're fucking.
That's
she's
not
just
something to be involved
she's
with,
pure Italian.
like
but then
that.
she would do it like all the time too. Like then she'd be like she tried to be a model and shit, and she would like put down like Spanish and shit, Latin on her things, and I'd be like, you're fucking Italian, dude. Like,
it's like that clip where that girl's like, I just like to have fun. I'm Latina. And then they're like, are you really Latina? She's like, no. I'm Polish. But on the inside, I'm Latina.
Yeah, dude. She was trying to dole us out. I guess it was when like Giselle and like Adriana Lima were like all the rage, and she was like trying to tell people she was Brazilian.
No, it doesn't.
Like you're from Tinton fucking Falls, dude. Huh?
I said, does she know it doesn't change the way she looks just to say you're Brazilian? You're not.
No, but she was doing like the little smoky eye. Like she could pull off like kind of like Latin, I guess, or whatever.
Well, yeah, but the thing with Brazilians though, there's so many different.
It's like
like one of my best friends is Brazilian. You would never know.
At the table.
Yeah, I'm part Brazilian, and yeah, like you said, they can look
Mongol and Russian and Greek.
They can look like anything.
Yeah, like anything.
Yeah, and a lot of Brazilians are Italian as well.
That's right. There's a lot of them that are German.
Yeah. Let's on the topic of some bullshit ass martial arts. Let's pull up that next clip.
Most jiu-jitsu instructors come into us here.
most jiu-jitsu instructors are going to tell you, you know, defend against the, you know, wrist control, this. I think that's what they say, wrist control or something like that. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the jiu-jitsu terminology, but really and truly, you know, we can cut the blood circulation off to his brain. Now, he thinks he's going to cut the blood circulation off to my brain and pass me out. If I can get to these small intestine points right here, I don't have to go against I don't have to go for the wrist control. So go tie and choke and go. And I'm gonna press in. 1, 2, 3. So I held it for 3 seconds. Get in here. Get in here. Oh, he's out. Watch. He's out though. Watch. Wait. He's out. All right. Bring him up here.
Tuco's gonna let everyone get to his back on Monday.
I gotta say, that guy had really good neck support for being so out. The way when he got sat up.
So I've actually,
and that choke was really deep and tight because of the way he was speaking during it. Everything about this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
They have all these accounts like, and it's back to the Steven Seagal stuff, like these McDojos, and they show people still playing this bullshit. And sometimes these guys are like, "Yes, I'm lethal. I will accept a challenge." Someone comes in there, punch them in the face, and they're like, whoa, time out. What the fuck is that? It's hilarious. It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
My favorite, I think the guy's a troll. My favorite is like the black dude with the tight like perm who like tries to
the
like,
Detroit
people
defense
to take the gun
yeah.
away. And it's like, so somebody has a gun pointed at you like this. What you're gonna do is you're gonna first move your head, and then you're gonna get over the top of the gun.
Gus.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's his name.
It's like, didn't they do one thing? Where I think he's actually trolling, but they did one thing where they had like paintballs, and he was like, "All right, we'll just try to get." And the guy was like this. He was not yet. And he's like, "Okay, would you tell me what?" And he just kept getting shot. He was like,
ping.
But this kid, he's from Florida. I've actually seen him fight. He's actually legit. I think he's just doing this for clicks.
This dude?
Yeah, I don't know him like that, but I've seen him fight a bare knuckle fight. He can actually fight, and but they just do this for clicks, and they get everyone to sit around.
Oh, it's just it's rage bait.
Yeah, they want the engagement. Yeah,
rage
but
bait.
Fuck.
he's definitely trolling. He's trying to get Mickey mad.
Got him.
Gerard sent that clip. Gerard sent that clip. Yes, you did.
No,
And
I said I think he's trolling.
You sent that clip.
I said I think he's trolling.
But he's actually a good fighter, man. I've seen him fight a bare knuckle fight before. That guy.
right, well,
I don't know if he can grapple.
It's funny that they sit him up too, like doing the opposite
Yeah.
of what they should do.
But I love everyone else.
That's
Like,
the thing is like, is it a different type of knockout? Like, because when someone's choked out, they're like, you see him doing those like,
yeah.
those death breaths. He's not doing that, and then they sit him up instead of his head going back like this because there's no neck support. He's like,
Yeah.
dude's fucking pretending.
Dude, I hate when you see someone choked out and they go lift the legs. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to put someone in recovery position. If you lift their legs, they can swallow their tongue.
What?
Everyone does it.
Yeah, like the
I always
side
heard
You
that
see
it forces the blood back to their brain.
It also forces the tongue to the back of their throat.
What is recovery position?
on your side, your left side.
Yeah.
On your left, so the blood comes like back
is
to the heart.
Yeah, that way your tongue is falling out your mouth rather than down your throat.
Really?
That's
Yeah,
like
because
when
you're limp.
someone has a seizure, you're supposed to put something in their mouth so they don't swallow their tongue.
Yeah.
And
Even
you put them on their side, or like a drunk friend, if you're putting them in bed, put them on their side.
especially with the mouthpiece, but you see in the UFC, you see the high-level grappling
They pick up the
competitions.
legs and
They
shake
pick up
them.
the legs and shake them. It's like the worst thing you can do. Ask
Oh,
any
shit.
doctor. Yeah, it's crazy. But Mickey, bro, I've knocked people out and I've choked people out cold in fights. And for me, the first time I choked someone out, limp body, was like it felt better than a knockout.
Yeah, I remember choking people out like in the gym, like when I was young, and then trying to roll them to their back and to go to
Yeah.
like pick the leg, and it'd be like a big like 240-pound guy, and I'm like, their dead weight is
Yeah.
so fucking heavy.
It's
Like,
crazy.
it's so easy to move a person. It's weird how it's easy to move a person when they're awake. You'd think it'd be the opposite, but when they're asleep, they're like so fucking heavy. That dead weight's crazy.
Mhm.
That's something I always stuck with me. Every time, like when you choke someone out on top of you, like it's hard to get them off you.
Yeah.
You know.
Did they cover any of this in your tactical training that you were doing? Did you do any of the pressure point training?
No, because for what my training is,
It wasn't all bullshit.
yeah, well, it's not that, but it's also like survival. So I'm much smaller and way less capable. So it's not technique oriented. It's how do you kill somebody, right? Like no matter what, like, you guys are fighters, but he takes like the most insane jujitsu people, and then you introduce weapons, they don't have a chance because the way that you fight with the weapon is entirely different, or the way that you defend yourself with the weapon is entirely different. So I spent the weekend with like this one guy's like 6'5" and probably like 250, and he's tackling me down in the ground, or I'm getting like in a rear naked choke, and he's like, okay, we'll get out with a knife. So it's like what I'm doing is different than what you guys are doing.
So you carrying around weapons and stuff now?
Yeah, for sure.
Stay strapped.
Yeah.
Stay ready. You don't have to get ready. There you
Yeah.
go. And what do you feel most comfortable with?
Right, it depends on where I'm going. Most of the time right now it's a rat knife, and they're awesome. They're by Headhunter Blades. Check them out. Rat. So after the seal that died, so it was this guy's buddy, and then he made a knife.
Can you see it?
I don't have it with me. No, I brought a checked bag. Or I didn't check my bag. I was going to.
Caught her lacking.
I was going to bring my SIG actually, but I was like, I don't want to wait 45 minutes for my bag.
Where do women conceal? In their purse or on their person?
Tuco.
It depends. So, like
Tuco.
fanny
So
pack.
what
Fanny
would you do
packs.
if I attacked you?
How would you handle this situation?
No, I was general. I said, where do women conceal?
No, so fanny packs are really good. Inside your jeans is good, and then inner thigh is good if you're in a dress.
Nice.
That was the one you were looking for there.
Yeah.
That was the one. He's like, exactly how high up in the inner thighs you go, yeah?
Well, it depends on your thigh gap. I'm like, I'm gonna have to work on my thigh gap if I'm gonna put it there in the hot.
Huh? Is that the little rat knife?
Yeah, it's awesome. So
Wow.
he designed this
Is that like
specifically.
obsidian type?
Why is it called a rat knife?
So the guy that designs them, he was friends with the seal, and that was his nickname.
Oh, the rat.
That died.
That ain't a great nickname.
I
Rest in
know.
peace to him, though.
But so he made
Jimmy the
this,
Rat.
He made this knife specifically for armed forces, and it's basically how do you create a blade that you'll be able to kill multiple people, and it doesn't snap, and it's good in your hand. It's ergonomic. Like it's just like how do you make the most deadly weapon? He's a badass.
Like a grip so you don't your hand can't
Yeah, there's like a place for your finger. Yeah, it doesn't slip.
It's like a steak knife, kind of.
It's not a steak knife.
It's not a steak.
It is not a
Anything's
steak
knife. You cut steak with it.
No, that would be blasphemy. So no, yeah, I was talking to Mickey when he picked me up from the airport. He's like, "Oh, so where do you cut somebody? How do you get out of this?"
Femoral artery right up near the panty line.
Right on the panty line.
Candace told me.
What?
Yeah.
You bleed out.
Bleed out.
Bleed out. And it might take them a couple seconds, especially if they have adrenaline going, for it to actually hit them.
It
But
would still be good to fight hands, as that guy did with the terminology. You should fight hands. Try and make
I
it
should
look
really
big.
learn my pressure points. Yeah. No.
Bash Rutten had a video on that. Like he was teaching a seminar, teaching a choke, and someone said, "Oh, in the crowd, I'll just poke him in the eye." And he was like, He said, try poke. You think I'm just going to let go? He said, I'm going to go, ow, and then break your fucking neck.
Close my eyes.
Yeah.
Strangle you to sleep.
What's the idea with the knife? Whether you go this way with it, or you see like in the movies all the time, the guys like go like this way with the knife, and they're like.
My buddy Brendan Allen, his dad was a drill instructor, and he taught knife fighting as his module in whatever base he was at for like 20 years. And he said you hold the knife with the blade down, and you fight as normal, like you punch and strike with the blade, but it also protects your wrists, and that because that's the safest way to handle it, to not cut yourself and to not lose the blade and shit like that. That's what he always told
you
me.
just throw in like.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then even if they're gonna strike you, like you can guard, and then you still have a blade there. They can't step on. You know what I'm saying?
Well, speaking of guns, here's a Tuco contribution clip.
The most freakiest thing I've ever done was I had a gun to the back of my head during, and then not even I kind of my on the edge, I feeling like I'm in danger but not actually in danger.
Daddy issues. Got it.
The most freakiest thing I've ever.
That's not freaky. That's retarded.
That's diabolical.
You're
literally
retarded.
From Sopranos.
The reddest flags
Janice
of red
has a
flags.
gun. Richie Aprile has a gun to the back of Janice's head while they're
Opposite,
doing a
right?
doggy. No.
Oh, Richie's holding her.
Yeah.
I see that video and I want to see the dude that done it. Yeah, I'm like,
That's the
what
first
kind of
thing I
guy? And I want to ask, what pistol? Like, what caliber?
It's a Nerf gun.
Huh? No. I believe it. I just think I want to know the details. You know how? That's diabolical. Reddest of red flags. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine what do you do, Gerard, if your Brazilian Italian chick asks you that?
Hey, try anything once, you know.
But she tells you, hey, with the meat cleaver on the back of my throat.
Dude, there was a comedian. There's a very, very, very good comedian.
The rat knife. Put your rat knife on my throat.
No, you don't play with the rat knife.
Yeah.
No.
Put it on my femoral artery.
Really gets me going.
There's a comedian who got jammed up his son and I guess what was supposed to be his daughter-in-law. They got really. They had like a very aggressive sex life, and he ended up killing her in bed.
Like choking her to death?
Yes.
That's bad. Fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry. Excuse
and
me
it
for
was like,
laughing.
yeah.
man.
Well, that was not the reaction, but
He's
yeah,
like killing her.
no, yeah. And then, but that's kind of like what her family said too. It was
Yeah.
like exactly how did this happen? And he was trying to be like, you know, she liked. It was almost like that autoerotic asphyxiation. It was like she'd choke me out, I'd choke her out, and
you just held it too long?
I guess.
I always
There was
wonder.
a lot of drugs involved and shit too, though. It was very bad, man. The guy's a great guy too,
Yeah.
and it's his son, and it kind of ruined his life, you know.
Fuck.
But
I always wonder that some comedian had a bit about that. Like, how do guys fall into that asphyxiation fetish? Like, are they like putting on their tie one day and they do it a bit too tight? And
well, we were on Legion of Skanks with Dr. Drew, and he basically said it's for people that had like opioid addictions and stuff, and like their brain just can't get dopamine, and like the only way they can like get to climax is that, you know, they have to be like fucking on death's door, and it releases all this dopamine and serotonin, and that's like the thing. So
crazy.
Like when I was training in jiu-jitsu, I was getting like a gi choke, and it was like I didn't notice that I was getting choked at the time. It was just smooth, and then the guy I was training with saw that I was like about to go out, and he let it go, and for a second I was like, why'd you do that? And then I got like the dizzy like the butterflies in your head, kind of like when you're about to be choked out.
It's like a lightheaded feeling.
It feels like a high.
But there was a delay there.
There was a little bit of a delay, but it felt like a high. So like if you get to that point, you feel high. And I remember being like,
Hey,
That's a little
so
dangerous.
bad.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, man. I've never
What's the freakiest thing you ever did,
I've
Gerard?
never once felt comfortable with that sort of stuff. I really don't. Like, I've never felt comfortable with that
But
sort of
it's
stuff.
like dust off that kids get addicted to. It cuts off the oxygen to your brain. You
Yeah.
get like the womp womps, and it's a fun feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess.
I'm a pretty boring guy. I've had girls that wanted to like. I had this one girl that she just had like this fucking like public fetish that I hated. She like every time we were on the subway in New York, she wanted to do it. I'm like, there's a homeless guy shitting himself right fucking there, dude. Like this is. She liked the idea of getting caught or something like that. I'm like, I don't like the idea of getting caught. I feel like that kind of ruins it. I don't like that. I don't like fucking. Some girls like to be choked and shit like that. I'm like, I will fucking legitimately hurt you here. Like, that's not what I'm here
There's
for.
like different levels of choking.
Some of us are black belts at this table, and we know our way around
I'm
the neck.
What's answer Mickey's question?
What?
The freakiest thing you've ever done?
I'm mostly
Or was
consensual.
it that you're into?
I said done.
Done.
A mostly consensual threesome in fucking in a public bathroom in fucking Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Mostly consensual.
I'd ask Candace, she's gonna be like, how much time you got? fella?" I did this professionally.
Don't know.
It's called big league shit.
I want to know. I do want to know like how the
Pleb.
negotiations go and that stuff. And it's like, all right, so hear me out.
It depends. So for me, it was like always, it was laid out like these are my yeses. If it's not on that, don't do it.
The stuff I've never understood is like the train. Like we had a couple guys on my team in high school that wanted to like, dude, they got off on like running trains on girls, and I'm like,
I think that's like misogynistic, kind of
I agree
dominating.
with Tuco.
Huh?
You think it's
No, that's not me,
misogynistic?
bro. I'm a freak, but it's within the realms of tradition. Like
You're a freak
I'm a
for
freak from
Jesus.
500 years ago. No, it's like I don't need anything. Like I don't toys, lingerie, all that shit's just bullshit to me. It's more like, and even that, what you said about trains and all that, threesomes is not my thing.
I like toys and stuff. I
A
do.
man and a woman and the
Yeah.
Holy Bible.
Can I interest you in any pop rocks for you and your missus?
You know, a lot of my
Pop rocks?
a lot of my
Is it
black
really?
friends- No. That's
Is it?
poppers. That's
Are
poppers.
they the same thing?
Gerard's talking
No.
about actual pop rocks.
Pop rocks, the candy.
Oh,
But a lot of my black
You play a
friends that I
little.
grew
You play a
up
little
with
hide and go
were
seek.
into-
You go a
That
little,
is so bad for your pH, ladies.
little-
Don't listen to Gerard.
A little
Don't do that.
You go a little truffle pig. Find the pop rocks.
No.
So with the train thing, a lot of my black friends growing up, they'd be into like that type of thing, and I'm like, dude, that's gay. That's
You
gay.
talk
It's
about-
like
you talk about-
dudes, and they're like, no, it's like a bonding thing.
You talk about training?
No, I don't. Yeah.
It was our defensive backfield too. So
yeah,
No.
dude. Yeah, I don't. I don't know, man. Who gets? How do you decide who goes last? I don't know, man.
Sounds homosexual. If there's more dicks in a room than women.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little gay.
I think part of it though is it is woman hating to a certain like I think most guys that like that hate women.
Or lack of, obviously a lack of respect, but I think there's a lack of respect on both sides, like self-respect and towards her.
Yeah, who are the women that are like, well, it's Friday?
I think it's like one, it's certainly a lack of self-respect, but also just like all these people want me. Maybe they feel like that. Like
it makes them feel beautiful.
Yeah, it makes them feel good about themselves. Like 5 guys want me at the same time. Wow, I must be special.
Who broaches the subject? Who brings the topic up? Hey guys, I have an idea. Hear me out.
I think alcohol is normally involved.
No, I would imagine.
I would assume.
Yeah. It's like not just they're sitting around Starbucks at 1 o'clock going like, well, I'm bored. You bored?
I don't know. I've seen people make surveys though, and like a whole application process. And
Oh,
it was
damn.
Is there anything that really stood out in your career that like when you're like that comes to mind? Like, oh yeah, that was definitely the freakiest.
No,
or the
I was
strangest.
always like a pretty performer. I didn't really do anything crazy. Yeah. So it kind of isolated me in a way because the girls that did thought, and I mean, I would talk shit about specific performers. Like I would talk shit about Adriana Chechek a lot, and she didn't like it, but she was like outwardly bragging about like sleeping with Uber drivers, like people that weren't tested, and then coming back into the industry. And I was like, that's just reckless and so disrespectful and just so unsafe. And she's like, you're slut shaming me, and you can't slut shame this whore. And I was like, that's not what this is. It's like a safety thing. And then I do have questions around like really extreme acts because I don't think anyone really wants to do a lot of those things. I think they're doing it for money, and for me, like I only did stuff that I wanted to do, and then we would talk about money afterwards. So I never really did anything crazy. It worked out for me.
Money after?
Yeah, like my first thing. No, not after shooting. Like after deciding like what was going to be okay and not okay.
You would like put the plan together and then. Okay.
So like for me, I was a contract girl, so we would go over the negotiations at the beginning, and it's like, okay, well, this is how many scenes we want a year. This is the type of scene, and then it was either yes or no to that type of scene, and then after that, it's like, okay, well, what do you want for that scene?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And so how much more if I have a midget? That's only a quarter more,
Well,
right?
they would try to do stuff like that. So you'd show up, and then it'd
You're
be
not
like,
gonna
well,
charge
this
me
is
for a full post, and he's
different
barely half as
variation.
tall.
Yeah. And then you'd have to be like, that's not this. So.
All
They
right.
try and sneak shit in there.
Yeah, all the time.
Well,
which is
listen.
why it's important to say no. You know what I mean?
Right, have
boundaries.
your boundaries.
We know you don't do trades, see, but this is 4 pygmies, and that's technically 2 humans, and that's just a threesome, yeah? So
This is in 1917 when she's filming when people talk like that.
This is beautiful.
Well, that actually happened when I was
Yeah.
shooting in London. I shot a ton when I was out there, and I would show up, and they would kind of hope that because you were like so far away from home that you would feel pressure and do things. So like I would do threesomes, but not like with girls, and I would show up and it was like a full-blown basically gangbang or orgy, and I'm like, I don't do those. It's like literally not like that's on my no. And they're like, oh well, you're here, so like, you know, like,
Really? We'll
I was
send
like,
half of
I'll
them
go
home.
over here, no one else touches me but that guy, and everyone else can do what they want. And then everyone was like, she thinks she's so much better than everyone, and we're not allowed to touch her. I was like, no, you're not fucking allowed to touch me. No, yes, I'm allowed to have that boundary. Yeah.
Good.
But it was, yeah.
Is it hard in an industry like that where, like, I guess an idea could be that there is a lack of self-respect to do something like in that industry, and then for people, I feel like it would be hard to have boundaries because people would expect you to not have boundaries.
I think that there's a misconception that automatically because you approach sex differently that you automatically have no self-respect, and I think you can do the same thing with respect and integrity and then the same thing without both of those things, and I've seen it, and it's like what I would consider degrading is going to be different than someone else. You know what I mean? Some people would look at a Hooters girl and say, well, that's so degrading. Like, I don't find that particularly degrading. I think it's you have to know what your own boundaries are. I think where you get into trouble is when you start showing up for other people's expectations and then denying like your own gut. So again, like what turns people on and what they find arousing is like that is deviant. Like there's no standard for that. Like sexuality in itself is deviant behavior, and that's not bad. So I think when it comes to like degradation and self-respect, like you're the only one that can determine what that looks like for you. So for a lot of people, like the fact that I was in the industry, like she must not respect herself, she must have like such a low sense of self-worth, and that's not true at all. Like I have very firm boundaries, and I don't regret anything that I did. And then I saw people in the industry where that wasn't the case. So I think like we have to get out of this idea that if I wouldn't do it for myself, then that means no one else would also find that interesting, because we have like such a variety of the way that we see the world and what we want.
It's so fascinating. I'm listening to you say this, and it was on a much different level, obviously, but it was so similar to like my last days at Valuetainment, because it was like, you know, they were moving to a new studio and they wanted everybody to come in on the weekend, and you know, you're coming in there and they're like, what are we doing? Well, we're gonna film. Okay. And then you get there and it's like, well, hey, pick up a wrench. We're all putting our desks together and we're doing construction. It's like, wait a minute, what the fuck are we doing here? Well, we're all doing construction. We're building the set. And it's
we
like,
know how much he likes to assemble furniture.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, yeah, you got the wrong guy. I ain't putting the fucking desks together in here. The fucking billionaire who owns the company can hire fucking movers.
I was going to say it's like it's similar to fighting a little bit. I can relate to that. I was like, when you fight professionally, everyone thinks you're just some knucklehead and you fight, because we have performers as well, I guess, and people just think you're just this knucklehead fighter that fucking has a fist fight in a casino or something. No, but you know what I mean though? It's like people think, and I was like, no, I'm a smart guy. I fight for money. I sign a contract. I train for a fight. It's not like casual fans think like, yeah, you just show up with your tattoos and your mohawk and you just fucking fight this other guy, like.
And they assume you have no other options, and then that's why you did
it's it. Like, no, I'm actually train. I have a skill. I perform. There's a time limit, and it's contracted, and I get paid in my bank.
It's my job.
Yeah, and they pay for me to fly out and fly home, and that's my job. Yeah.
The same shit, man. Like they would sit there and they would snicker at me like, oh, well, Gerard's too good to fucking do. Yeah, Gerard, This is not how Gerard wants to spend a Saturday. Why are any of you doing this? You resent me for not being part of the team. I resent you fucking losers for going along with this shit. None of us should have to do it. But because you guys will go along to get along, now the pimp gets to look at you and be like, you're rocking the boat. You know what I mean? And they make you feel like the asshole for not allowing yourself to be fucking used. And like, no, we have a job and do the job and then fucking seal it. This idea with businesses, I don't care what industry you're in, you're part of a family. No, the family's fucking home. This is what I do for a living. When I get here at 9, you are renting me from 9 to fucking 5. 5:01, you got to pay more money. I am so anti fucking this idea that, oh, you're gonna stay there till 10, you got to get there early. Fuck that. You're getting paid to do a job. Do the job the best that you possibly can, and then get the fuck out of there. If they want more out of you, pay you. If they want you to do these things, all right, we can have the conversation, but fucking pay me. There's too much going on, especially in this economy, because people are desperate to hang on to their
Jesus
job.
Christ, Gerard, could you just shut the fuck up? I'm kidding, Barry. We said we were going to do it before.
You did it so bad.
I know. I thought you were going to do it. We were like, we're going to wait till he rants, and then we're going to be like...
You couldn't do it.
I know. I was waiting for her to ad-lib me, and she didn't, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to say sorry.
I tried earlier, Gerard. You started talking, I go, oh, here we go.
Yeah, I was waiting for it, and I was meant to do it aggressively, but I love you, buddy. We said before the show we were going to do it.
Tuco had the plan since...
He went red, though. He kind of went red. He was like, oh, what the fuck?
Did you see how he did it, though? He goes, Jesus Christ, Gerard, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, because I was like, you go. No, I was kidding, buddy. We love you.
No, I know. Thanks.
That's a good one.
Hey, you did good, man. Appreciate you not starting a fight in here today.
He just got so mad. Did you get real mad for a second?
No.
He did. He went red.
The way it happened, I was like, is this a bit? Like, what the fuck?
It was.
Yeah, it was good. I've seen better acting in porn. All right, anyway.
I pride myself on my acting. Okay.
Yeah?
Is that how you would approach it, or no?
Well, yeah, I mostly did parodies, so there was actually a ton of
The
acting.
plumber and all that kind of shit.
No, like we did Kill
He
Bill. We did
fixes
like
the
Kill
That wanted
me
Bill.
to be- that made me wanna be a
Yeah,
plumber.
we did John Wick, Anchorman, like movies. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a
You
lot
got
to
paid more
acting.
for those?
No.
It's just
And
more
I did
fun.
because I was contracted.
I was gonna
but
say it seems like it would take a lot more time.
yeah, I had a 16-hour day one time.
Jeez.
Yeah. No extra pay for that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
How many hours of acting? How many hours of fucking?
I think that day was like probably 15 and a half hours of acting.
Damn.
Jesus.
Yeah. Makeup when we did
Who the
Star
fuck is
Wars.
paying for this stuff?
Star Wars was
Like-
one of my favorites. I got to be one of those like like the blue naked
Did
ladies.
they call it
with the
Star
things.
Wars?
I don't know what they called it.
I feel like they
Missed
would have
opportunity
to.
if they didn't. They'd have to have that, right?
Yeah, that one was fun. That was shot
Starfish.
in Birmingham.
Starfish Wars.
In London?
Birmingham.
Are people watching full porn?
Yeah, how'd you get to London?
A lot of the companies have a satellite one there.
Oh,
So
damn.
like Danny D is out there. You don't know that guy?
Where's porn creation biggest?
L.A. for sure. Mm-hmm.
What other countries?
The Vatican.
Well, when you get into other countries, then it gets really dodgy. So like
Romanian trafficking.
yeah,
and all
it's
that
really
shit, yeah.
bad. And like I've never shot there. Some girls do. That sucks. But they'll have like a whiteboard, and I only know this because some of those girls would come over to London and shoot, and they would just like tell me these stories. They would show up, and there would be a whiteboard, and on the whiteboard it would be names, and it was like who's working with who, kind of like all these lines, and who's like tested or not with like a check mark. But no paperwork, no verification. You could just wipe it. Like just really fucking weird. And I'm like, that is not okay. You should not be okay with this.
Seems like Eastern Europe is like Bosnia and all those like war-torn Eastern European places seem to be like.
Do you think LA is such a hub because so many like aspiring like people go out there, like good-looking people who are like you know what I mean, destined for fame and kind of desperate and hungry end up there, and it becomes like that's like their like ticket to fame? What do you think?
I think I don't know. I think most people that I've met that are in it, that was the goal. Like they didn't have aspirations to be mainstream. I think that you just have a lot of. It's more the cast that double dips. So there's just more availability for lighting, sound, directors, makeup.
No, it's crew.
Crew, yeah.
Crew, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that helps. And then there's a lot of locations there.
Van Nuys.
What's that? Isn't that a street out there?
It's the Valley. There's a lot in the Valley.
Like so, like everybody has their like production studios, and then when you see somebody has Burbank on their card, and then you know you see somebody has Van Nuys, it's like, okay, well we know how they pay their bills, but they're like trying to get into reality TV or they're trying to get into regular TV. But if you have your production studio in Van Nuys, it's the joke
Probably
is
porn,
it's like
yeah.
Didn't I see a bunch of
porn
states
studio.
are like banning porn?
Yeah, but it's like you throw a VPN on and then you
Yeah,
have
like
access to
anything,
it. And it's not a full ban.
Creation or watching?
No, it's not banning. So basically, when you go to look at one of these really big tube sites, you have to upload a government issued ID, and some
Right.
people are also requiring a facial scan, and they're claiming that they delete it right away, but who really knows what's happening? And they're doing it under the guise of protecting children,
Yeah.
which is such bullshit. And I've had people on my show to talk about it, and I by no means am pretending like the industry is like perfect. There's like a lot of reform that needs to
Yeah.
be happen. I'm a big advocate of paywalls. Not that that's even foolproof either, but it's something like over 80% of minors that access explicit content for the first time. It's not on a tube site. It's on Instagram. It's on TikTok. It's on Facebook. So you're banning
Snapchat,
these,
I bet.
Yeah. So you're banning these sites that are, like it or not, the most legitimate of the options, and then you push them to like these really crazy honeypot sites that are probably going to steal their credit cards, steal their identity, have really questionable content on there that's probably not legal. So it's really messy, and
But
it's just not the solution.
Do they do it to catch the people? Like if you upload your ID and then you're gonna go watch some kiddie porn, like
No,
do
no.
they trace you like that?
They're doing it other ways. Yeah,
Right,
they don't
right.
need your ID.
You're saying protect the kids from the standpoint of them not being able to
Get
access it
without an ID, and that's
Yeah.
it's not legitimate.
It's not legal to film everywhere though.
It is, yes, it is. And some people might try to get weird about it, but it is protected under the First Amendment, like it or not.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. It's federal.
Some
Federal.
people who like are getting like a hooker,
Mhm.
well, it's like a loophole where if you like record it and call it porn, it's not illegal.
Interesting.
think one of the mayors who got busted for that.
Yeah, it is
That's how I heard
an
of it.
approved form of it.
That's how I heard of it.
Which
That's
town?
That's
Which
what
town?
I read it. I read it somewhere.
Which town? I want to go there.
Jerry Springer, right? Didn't Jerry Springer get caught with a hooker? That was like his big thing.
Really?
I think so.
Didn't we
That's how
see
he
Jerry
became
Springer the other day?
We did.
He was mayor of Cincinnati, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he got Elliot Spitzer. I think he got caught with a hooker or something like that. And then he was like, you know what? It's gonna be a talk show host. Like, let's lean all the way the fuck into it. Did he just pass away? Is he still alive, Jerry
We
Springer?
just saw him the other day.
Okay.
Where?
I don't know. We was eating lunch somewhere.
So
We
were
seen-
you starting a fight there too?
No. I wanted to be like Jerry,
He can't
Jerry.
remember unless he's gotten in a fight in different places.
Can't remember places he's been.
Nah, he's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Really?
He is
died
dead.
in April.
I thought he did
Oh.
die.
I did not
April
know
of
that.
last year.
I'm smart.
No.
I know things.
Yeah,
Of
Wasn't he still
2020
kinda
what?
young?
2023.
I think he faked his death because I just seen him, bro. I swear. I swear.
Tuco just sees any random Jewish guy in Florida. He's like, oh, Jerry Springer.
Jerry.
We got any more clips or are we wrapping this thing up? All right, so Tuco, why don't you tell people where they can find you, man?
I'm not really that big on social media. I'm
All right,
just on
so go fuck
Instagram.
yourself. Well, Jamie, where can people find you?
So-
You can find Tuco at Tuco300.
Yeah, on Instagram at Tuco300.
Jamie Gall 22 on Instagram.
Awesome. When we have to ask the question, when's your next fight, bud?
I wanted to fight in October, but I'm cornering so many guys all over the world. My management was like maybe more towards the end of the year. So I heard UFC's coming to Florida end of the year.
Tampa, the
To Tampa, yeah. So I might
Last card
look to get on that if they can match me with a guy who's ugly enough to share the octagon. Then we can go
185? You 185?
this is at 205, but I want to go back to 85.
All right. Nice. What are you walking around in right now?
225.
Atta babe.
Yeah.
Nice. Good stuff. Like to see it. Love to see it. More beef.
What are you walking around at?
226, 227.
I was wondering what you were saying about that floor creaking. I think it would creak at wherever you were.
Yeah, it's right here. It's maybe it would have been better if people were thinking I was farting, right? They're like the fucking,
Now that you're breaking
the floor's
Building.
tapping out underneath me
Foundation.
over here. Yeah. Definitely in this totally up to code and permitted attic that we are in.
Oh, you made me cackle.
For the great Jamie Gall, Mickey Gall, Christian Naguner, obviously the wonderful Candace Horback, I am Gerard Michaels. This is Canceled Weekly. We will see you next time.